Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me this morning. There are a few things I want to say about a topic that is, very near to me and hits very, very close to home, and something I take very, very seriously. I watched Hulk Hogan's comments today. I caught them on TMZ. Hulk Hogan was on Good Morning America today, to talk about the situation he currently finds himself in. And let me first clarify this from the start. At the beginning, you can go back and you could read any of my blogs there. They're there on the website at the Realm Network, vincerussobrand.com. They're right there. I've supported Terry Bollea as a man in this situation. And let me make this clear. I still support him. And I'll tell you why. Terry Bollea is a man that made a mistake. And all of us make mistakes every single day. Now, I've learned a couple of things as I get older. And the first one is that we all should have our hearts filled with forgiveness. That's what God wants. God has forgiven us all. We need to find it in ourselves to forgive others. And I'll tell you, sometimes the human nature, it's very, very difficult to forgive other people, especially, those that have deeply, deeply hurt you. But again, as people of Christ, he requires that we do forgive others. And there's something else he also requires that's extremely important, and that's that we don't judge other people. And the more I thought about this, and the more I reflected on this, and the more I prayed about this, it's almost just incomprehensible to judge another human being that was created at the hands of God. It's almost like saying, God, you did a really bad job here, and we're going to judge this person. So our job is not to judge. Our job is to be judged by the one who created us. And that one would be Jesus Christ. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about a personal level here. I'm talking about serious matters here. I'm not talking about, entertainment and rants that I go on for your viewing pleasure. I'm talking about in the heart and soul of you, showing forgiveness and forgiving people that may have done something or said something to hurt you. So I believe in forgiveness. And I also believe in not judging others. That's not my job. So with that in mind, Terry Bollea has my support. He made a mistake. We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I forgive him. It's not up to me to judge him. But I was watching the interview today on Good Morning America, and I have to say this because this is very close to me. This is the second interview I've seen with Terry where he's been in a dark place in his life. The first interview I'm talking about was when the incident went down with his marriage and the divorce, and he lost the show. And his wife was accusing him of certain things right before he came to TNA. I remember this vividly. Terry Bollea went on and he told a story about, having suicidal feelings and putting a gun in his mouth. And I'm not denying any of that ever happened, but I clearly remembered in that interview, he talked about thoughts of suicide. In this interview today, this is the second interview where I've heard Terry Bollea talk about thoughts of suicide. Now, I have to tell you something, and this is why I'm here today. I take this very seriously for two reasons. And the first reason is, and they're not in any order, they're both important reasons. The first reason is, I'm not ashamed to say that for the last 30 years, I've suffered with depression. And depression is a mental disease. Everything's inside your head. whether you're going to have a good day, whether you're going to have a bad day, whether the glass is half empty, whether the glass is half full. And even though, Jesus Christ is in my life through and through, this is the thorn in my side that I suffer with. And I've been suffering with depression on and off for the last 30 years. And I'm going to be honest with you. I probably haven't suffered from it to the degree I have in the last 4 years, because basically what's happened to me in the last 4 years, I'll be honest with you. Number one, I was literally discarded and kicked to the curb by a company that I put 10 years of my blood, sweat, and tears in. Following that, I felt like I've been blackballed from an industry that I've put over 20 years in. So when all of a sudden your identity is taken away of who you are, and the person you are, what you do for a living, what your fiber is, how you use the gifts that God has given you. When that is pulled away from you, all of a sudden you go through a period of, I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what my self-worth is. I don't know what it is I'm supposed to be doing. And then, when you're, you hear comments, of those that you worked very hard for, putting you down, taking cheap shots at you, trying to rob you of all credibility, and everything you did for that company or that organization. When you're dealing with depression, that drives you in a deeper and deeper and deeper void. And things look blacker and blacker and blacker, and you don't know what to do with yourself. I'll be honest with you. Now, when you add to that, listen, I've said this all the time. I don't have a bank account with 100 zeros at the end of it. I wasn't a wrestler. I wasn't a performer. I did not make wrestler money. I made good money for a short period of time. But like I said, I've been out of the business for 4 years now, doing everything I can to try to make ends meet and support my family. So the combination of feeling, losing all self-worth, losing all identity, wondering, how I'm going to support my money, that has driven me at times into a very, very deep depression. Now, it is at those times that my mind goes to places that, quite frankly, I don't talk about. And the reason I don't talk about them is a couple of reasons. First of all, as a man, I'm very prideful. I'm Italian. I still try to be a strong Italian. I still try to represent my family. So when I reach a really low point and I have ideas in my mind that are almost incomprehensible, I don't talk about them because I'm prideful. I don't talk about them because it's embarrassing. I don't talk about them because I don't want to show, my weaknesses. I don't talk about them because I don't want people to think I'm crazy. I don't want people to think I'm looking for sympathy. There's a whole slew of reasons why I don't talk about those feelings that come across me, now and again. Now, this is the second time, Hulk Hogan has talked about certain feelings. And listen, I'm not Terry Bollea. I don't know if Terry Bollea is being sincere or not. If he's not being sincere, I'll be honest with you, I take great offense to this subject that has a great bearing on my life and has had a great bearing on my life for over 30 years. And I've been in those situations with certain thoughts, as the absolute truth. Okay. But number two, if Terry Bollea is really having these issues, and this is the second time when he's publicly spoken about putting a gun in his mouth, wanting to kill myself, wanting to commit suicide, then I got to tell you something. I hope Terry Bollea is getting help, because if this is a pattern with him, it's not healthy, and he really needs to get the help, because I know this firsthand, because I haven't gotten help. Because listen, in the industry I'm in, I've seen so many athletes been put on medications to help them in numerous areas, and I've seen what could happen to those individuals if a addiction occurs. That's why I refuse to go on medication, and that's why I refuse to get help, because if I get help, I know they're going to put me on medication, because I know I probably need it, but I'm not going to go there. So it's a constant daily fight with me. So this is a topic that I take very, very seriously. And, you know, again, I'm not Terry Bollea. I'm not sure really where he's coming from. I'm not sure if this is a publicity standpoint, if this is sympathy. I'm not sure if this is how he really feels. But again, my point is, if it is to gain sympathy from the audience, I just have an issue with that, because this is something very, very real to a lot of people. And if it's not, then like I said, Terry needs to get help, because if this is a pattern in your life, I hate to think about where that pattern may lead. So this is something that I just wanted to talk about today, because when you're talking about depression, and when you're talking about, what you're going through, and, whether or not you're having some really deep, deep, dark thoughts, a lot of people really deal with this. This is a significant disease. Millions and millions and millions of people deal with depression. Throughout the country, throughout the world. I know how many I heard from when I opened up and I told about my problems and my struggles. So this is something that I just wanted to talk about today, because it's a very, it's just a very important topic in my life. And as I said, it's one that I've dealt with for a very, very long time. So Terry, at the end of the day, it's funny to say, I don't want to say, I hope you were sincere, because obviously I don't want you having thoughts of suicide. But I hope you understand the weight of those words. If they're used as a ploy for sympathy and to get people's attention. There are a lot of people that will be affected by them. But number two, and more importantly, if you really are experiencing this and you really do need help, I just recommend that you do get help. Because like I said, man, I've been there, I've done that. And it's not easy, and every day gets to be a battle, and every day gets to be a struggle. So, my prayers go out to Terry Bollea. Regardless of what you might think, it's not true how I feel about him as a man. But this is something, and like I said, an important topic that I think I needed to talk about today. Thanks for listening, everybody. Take care.